Okay, well, welcome everyone. Today we are talking to Shawna, and she is a channel. She channels galactics, and she has a lot of information to share, and we're going to have a lot of fun speaking. So I will read your bio, Shawna, if you are good with that. Okay, and then you can share a little bit more if you want. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so Shawna is a spiritual warrior dedicated to the emancipation of negative reptilian energy that has saturated this planet for millennia. She is first and foremost a rebel of sorts, and she is just learning what this really means. Shawna has jumped into the deep end of her subconscious to access spiritual realms she never imagined were there and available. She is a conscious channel of many highly evolved beings, including the Galactic Council, Melchizedek, Archangel Metatron, the Galactic Federation of Light, and the Pleiadians. Her love, light, and dedication to her mission serve as inspiration to many around the planet who are ready to awaken and embrace their divine sovereignty and activate the codes of light within their own systems. Currently, Shawna is channeling the Galactic Federation of Light on YouTube, where they impart both high energy frequencies and messages of love and support for humanity as we transform our existence into a fifth dimension reality. Shawna recently released her newest book, I Am the Beacon, which details her personal journey of awakening and discovering the multi-dimensionality of life through her guides, archangels, and other highly evolved beings. Wow. And let me mention your books, okay? Because you have them here. Your books, you have other books. Okay, I Am the Beacon, An Extraordinary Journey of Awakening in These Times of Ascension. 2020 is the date of release. In Archangels, Aliens, and Prophecies. So is that the title of the book?
Yep,
Okay.
that's the title.
Okay,
Yep.
nice, nice. And then the Cosmic Unveiling of a New Earth, channeled book from 2018. And where can everyone find these books?
Thanks, Sharon. So obviously Amazon.com that's the only place you can find the Archangels, Aliens, and Prophecies book that I channeled in 2020. I Am the Beacon, Google Play, Amazon, Barnes & Noble online. Yeah.
Great. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to add anything to what we just shared about you?
You know, it's so weird to hear you say those words, and like I kind of sit back as like a third person and hear that, and I think this is crazy. Like, wow. It's just amazing, you know. Actually, that bio, I channeled that from the Melchizedek. So I asked those guys for help when I launched my book in August of 2020, I Am the Beacon, to help me come up with my bio, and then Archangel Metatron helped me come up with the book description. So yeah, it's I'm so just honored and thrilled to be here. Thank you, Sharon. For those of you watching, Sharon has been with me on my awakening journey since day one. Absolutely like a pillar of strength for me and a sounding board, where, you know, really as these things start to happen to you and you go through this major metamorphosis, it's really hard, and it's important to seek people who can help you and are of like mind and who have experienced kind of similar things that you've experienced. So I owe so much to Sharon. I think of her as our nucleus here for many of us here in this area, especially going through this process. So it's so good to be here and to see you and to support you this way.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah. Always love connecting with you, Shawna. You know that.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to share maybe a little bit how you got started channeling?
Yeah, so it's interesting. The channeling started only about 2 years ago when I met my spirit guide, Micah, through a psychic. So a friend of mine had given me a card and said, you've got to go see this psychic. She's amazing. She's up in Centralia. So I drove up there like an hour and a half to see this woman. And she introduced me to my spirit guide. We'd had 20 lives together. And this is really where I started talking or speaking or building a relationship with something that was really outside of my consciousness. I'd always really felt supported, but this was really the first time. And I started journaling. So the journaling was really important, but, you know, writing down my questions and then writing down whatever answers came. And I really, after several weeks, have really started to understand that, okay, I'm really channeling this other being who is here to help me he's got his own personality and his own insights, and bringing forth this information that I just wouldn't have been able to figure out on my own. Like, these were questions I did not have answers to. Voila, now I have answers coming through. And so journaling, that was my first relationship here that really kicked off kind of what I would consider the channeling that I do.
Great. Yeah, that's very similar to how I got started 20 years ago, I guess, was journaling and being able to discern the difference in what was coming through from me and my guidance, which is, you can feel the difference in the energy. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you mentioned energy. That was really palpable. Like, when that comes through, and that's a different kind of frequency coming through, you do feel that in your whole body.
Yeah.
Your whole body. And that's really obviously, just like you probably, like, okay, that's undeniable. Like, that's not just my imagination gone wild here. Like, that feels different for me in my body. My energy shifts when this communication is happening. So yes, absolutely.
Totally. Yeah. So do you have a routine with your channeling that you do? I mean, I think you channel pretty much every day, right? Or that's your goal?
Now I am channeling every day. And
Okay.
man, I've been channeling every day now that I'm really thinking about it, since like early May. So, and this all kind of happens by accident. It's not like I sat down and I thought, I'm going to channel every day. It was, from my spirit guide, and then it was working with Archangel Metatron, and then it was working with the Galactic Council, and then it was Melchizedek. And a lot of this channeling and these relationships began with books that I was reading that were of channelings of these highly evolved beings. So I would get, my energy would shift, like you're talking about, Sharon, like the energy would go crazy, and here comes a message, and I would be ready. I'd record it or I'd write it down. Otherwise, I feel like that all just kind of gets jumbled in your mind. Like, I think it's really good to write it down or record it. Then you can go back later and revisit that. So yeah. So, my routine. So that all kind of happened organically over like the last year and a half. So I'd say in the last 5-6 months now, it's been, I started reading Bringers of the Dawn, and that's Barbara Marciniak. Yes.
It's an amazing
And
book.
so that 1992, and it's really meant for today, right? I mean, it's just mind blowing, this stuff, but here it comes the Pleiadians.
Totally.
And I'd actually never talked to the Pleiadians before picking this book up, but here comes this female entity by the name of Sirius Samazafran. I can't even make this stuff up. I can't make this up.
No.
So I called her Siri for short. So I've got Siri on my phone, and I've got her in my head.
Right.
So
That's
Siri,
funny.
yeah. So I started reading that book, and my energy went crazy. So I put the book down, and here she comes in, like, I want to work with you every day at 8 a.m. And I was in Mexico at the time. And I'm like, okay. So I made a point, 8 a.m. every morning, to be sitting down. We'd do this whole thing where we would kind of get in our own meditative state. And I was wearing this big brown cloak with this necklace. And it would, like, I would see myself in a hall with her. And it was like she was teaching me. And for a half an hour or so every morning at 8 a.m., pretty much without fail, I was working with this Pleiadian. And it was incredible what was coming through. It was very personal stuff, very personal mission. There's also some stuff that, could pertain to other people, but like I was just freaking out with, like, this is so cool. And then she introduced me to the Galactic Federation of Light. So during one of our meditations, she's like, I want to introduce you to somebody. And it was literally like that.
Like, funny.
What?
Yeah.
I'm really not part of this planet anymore, am I? You just, like, nothing shocks you after a while. It's just like, okay, come on in. Like, yeah, join the party.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So Galactic Federation came in and basically took over my life pretty much. So and so this has been literally 60 days as of today. 60 days I've been working with them on my new YouTube channel. And this all started pretty much by accident. I am basically talking with, like, Commander Ashtar a couple of times, and then a collective from the Galactic Federation came in, and they started telling me to channel with my eyes open. So I was always eyes closed, meditative state, by myself, recording on my phone probably. But then it started to be, we need your eyes open. why don't you bring in a couple of people? We'll do some question and answer. Okay, that made me super nervous. And then it was, let's start videoing these things. So I did a few videos of myself channeling with my eyes open, and I kind of just had them for myself. But then I started posting them for some people, like, what do you think of this? Does this resonate with you? And pretty soon I had my own YouTube channel. And within 2 weeks, they had asked me to do it every day. So now I think I'm on day 40 or 45 or something of literally every day channeling the Galactic Federation of Light. And so that is my routine. It's like pretty much become my world they've pretty much taken over my world. It's like I get up, I meditate for an hour, and I channel them on YouTube, make a video, then I post it to YouTube, and then I'm meeting with people from all around the world that I've met through these videos. And it's not just channeling. I'm sure, as you know, Sharon, I mean, it's a energetic resonance that's coming through that is the beacon to draw these people from all around the world together. The last 60 days of my life has just been, it has just been incredible what's going on.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Wow, every day.
Yeah.
I know it reminds me of, again, 20 years ago when I made that commitment with my guidance to be in my room every night at 9 p.m. for meditation and channeling. And I believe that they're looking for people who are willing or able to commit, right?
Yes.
And that's when you,
Yes.
and to, fulfill that commitment. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I make commitments that I can't always keep to
Oh
myself,
man.
to myself
Oh yeah,
usually.
it's hard
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, every day I was in my room at 9 p.m. and channeled
Yeah.
and meditated and
Yeah.
meditated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, that's nowadays it's a little bit more difficult, but I do feel that that's what they are looking for, is for people like you that are making that commitment and understand how important it is, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
for us to clear our stuff and bring this information through. Yeah, when you were talking about your Pleiadian contact, it reminded me of mine. When I was they were contacting me in my out of body experiences and dreams, and there was a woman there who was a Pleiadian, my Pleiadian guide or my contact at the time, and she told me I could call her Pianor, which was
I
a
love it.
short for something
Yeah.
else. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And she worked with me diligently during that time. Yeah, and sitting with the council is something that I'll never forget either. Not on, but just in observing the council. I remember I was seeing a psychic back then, 20 years ago, and trying to understand what the heck is going on. And she told me, "You're going to be sitting with the council one day," and I'm like, "Whatever." Okay.
Totally.
Collect. Yeah,
Hard to believe.
I know, totally. And sure enough, not long after that, I was in deep in meditation. There I was sitting with these beings, and Archangel Raphael actually overshadowed me so I could be in that high frequency with them. And it was amazing to hear these beings,
Yeah.
and all kinds of extraterrestrials were there in attendance. And yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't make this stuff up. Like I said, it's just,
Mm,
it's incredible what's going on, guys. And it's like my first book, it's archangels, it's ascended masters like Jesus. It is galactic folks. It is of all species, all types of races from all galaxies, star
right.
systems, planets. Like
Hmm.
we truly have been under such a thick veil here on Earth, and been kind of just separated from this. And the lid's about to be blown off of this, I'm pretty sure. Like it's if I can channel, if they're coming to me, like they could do this with anybody, because I was like the furthest thing away from this.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I say that too, and that moves us to our next question. So, their information that you've been getting. Now, I've only seen a couple of your YouTube videos. I apologize, but I will go look at them more. So, the information you're getting, do you have anything that you can share that that's with what we're going on and what's going on in the world now and our current condition situation?
Yes, they've been extremely consistent for 60 days in that it's time to wake up to our multidimensionality, the fact that we are an everlasting soul made from love, of love, infinite in nature, one with the all that is, part of the great creator. Um, to be working on like the phase of ascension that they're talking about. So everything in my world is about the ascension. That is about my mission. It's helping to awaken as many people as possible through these transmissions every day with the GFL. Truly, they are saying the phase that we're in right now is of a personal sovereignty nature. It's not about worrying about world leaders or about chaos that's happening around us or helping our, helping our kids or whatever that is. It's like, we have to get the house right. We've got to get right within ourselves, love ourselves unconditionally, do not judge ourselves, really understand our hearts, being in touch with our hearts and out of our heads. So just really like coming into that center and clearing the debris out of our fields that might stop us from shining our light. And I'm just coming to know through these transmissions and the energy frequencies that I am definitely, they are attracting a subset of the population, kind of like me, that are just newly awakening to what's kind of going on here. There's so much more than what our organized religions have taught us. There's so much more than what we've grown to know ourselves as in our very limited identities. We are infinitely creative, and we're here for a reason. And it's just to bring this love and light during this critical time for ascension. So they've been very, very consistent in that and kind of bringing us to this point. And really the last couple of weeks kind of blew my mind because they started saying, well, you are all members of the Galactic Federation of Light. You who are drawn to this frequency, you have come to Earth in embodiment in a human body to bring light, and you have a mission to do this, but you are also galactic in nature. You are the extraterrestrials, So this, like, I'm channeling this in real time going, whoa, like I even had to stop channeling and just go, wow, dudes, just like what? So, really to come to that realization and people, I've got, I don't know, about 1,000 subscribers now and
nice.
8,000 unique viewers, 35,000 views actually. So in 60 days.
Good for you.
So thank you. It's reaching a broad audience, and it is people like your messages resonate with me so much. So I truly believe it's a target audience here that is very specific, that these frequencies are reaching. It's newly awakened folks who are just starting to kind of open their eyes to this, and they have come to Earth as part of the Galactic Federation of Light to help anchor light.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that. So can you talk a little bit to ascension? Some people, I get a lot of questions about, what does ascension mean? What does that mean? Are we just going to disappear? What's going on with, what does that mean? So can you talk a little bit to that and what that means to you and what information you're getting on that?
Yeah, I mean, this is so hard, I think, for our 3D minds. I know it is for me to grasp this, right? So we are third dimensional 3D beings here on Earth, have been for a long time. So that is a certain vibrational frequency. This ascension is going to move us up from the third dimension to a fifth dimensional frequency, and this is the frequency of love. So, so what they've said to me, even my Pleiadian, this is at its very core, it is about raising of a vibrational, literally a vibrational frequency. It is like science in that way, but there's so many ramifications for that. And what's really important about what's going on here on Earth right now is that humanity as a species is going to ascend to this higher frequency while still in embodiment. So we're still going to have our bodies. We're not going to have to, leave these bodies basically to ascend this major leap in evolution. So yeah, I mean, it's raising our own vibrations now, getting ready spiritually to be ready for what's coming in terms of this ascension. It is, it's really hard to get your mind around this. Like 2 years later, Sharon, I'm still learning. I'm still scratching my head. I'm still in disbelief. I'm still kind of coming to terms with this and my mission. I think we're in for, we've been in a ride here. We're in for one heck of a ride with this ascension. It's going to change everything about everything. I mean, toppling of all of our institutions that were built in a lower frequency all have to be reimagined, recreated from a higher state of consciousness, which is going to be incredible. I mean, it's going to be wonderful. And they tell us our souls have been screaming for this ascension. It's not it's not anything that's happening to us by accident. We've come here to bring this forward. This is part of what we're doing here right now. If you're here on Earth right now, you're going to help with this ascension in some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah.
that's in a nutshell my understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense to me too. And you're familiar with the Law of One teachings, correct?
Yes.
Raw
Yes.
teachings, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned from that, and also from my teachers and what resonates with me too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe that, and I feel that frequent. You're right. I feel totally. It's all about frequency. And so when we're in that lower frequency, we see things from that frequency, the negativity that's going on, how we feel about ourselves, which projects into how we feel about the world. If we're in a negative space, meaning we're in fear and control and all that, service maybe to self, as Love
Right.
One teaches,
Yes.
we're either in service to others or in service to self with our mindset. And we can be both, because we have to take care of ourselves too.
Right.
But if we're mostly in service to self, then that's where we're in the 3D, the third chakra of
Right.
control and disempowerment from the negative side of it. Yeah.
Right.
And so
Right.
moving up in frequency, from what I understand, also, like you said, has to do with moving into that positive vibration
Yeah.
and being in wisdom and the heart and everything like that. And if I believe that we're a lot of us are existing already in the fourth dimension.
Yep. I would
Yeah.
agree too. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So we're moving through all that, and then when we get bummed out, then we move back down to the 3D. When
Yeah.
we're fighting on Facebook or whatever, we're in 3D. Okay, so
Major 3D. Yeah. Really down there. Oh,
so yeah, so it depends on where we are emotionally and with that frequency. Thank you. Yeah, that makes total
yeah.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
to me, to me.
Yeah.
Um, So have you had any information about, the current state of affairs with maybe the pandemic or anything like that, on how to be able to handle that better, without,
Yeah.
talking too much about personal views or anything like that, but you know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah, I think the most, there has been a channeling here in the last just few days where we've talked about the last 3 months of 2020 being really chaotic. And the GFL, the Galactic Federation of Light with me, has not been as specific except to say very pointedly, full of energy, my team, it's time to wake up. It's time to activate. They actually use the word activate.
Mm-hmm.
That this is going to be really tough, and this is where you anchor your light as solid as a rock. So that's where they're coming in. But Archangel Metatron has come through, another channel who I trust completely, and Metatron, and this was just on Sunday. He talks about the last 3 months of 2020 being kind of like akin to the fall of Rome or the French Revolution, or
Yeah.
even he talked about the fall of Atlantis. So it is truly going to be the test of all tests here as we move into 2021, to really be grounded in the light and to be just, it'll be a test on all levels for all of us really moving into this. So he hasn't said what that was, but just that it's big.
Right.
It's big. And and I've heard other people, other channels talk about this too. My team at the GFL who's working through me is very just targeted to sending frequencies to wake people up. It's not, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But I have heard that this will be pretty intense. In terms
Yeah.
of COVID and the pandemic itself, what they have said to that is that this has been a really a beautiful time to stop, take a breath, take stock in what's important in life, and to reset moving forward for those of you who need that. Because I think even for me too, you get on that hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a
Mm-hmm.
point where you are really disengaged from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
You are having, like, it's so cerebral, it's so intellectual, all your critical thinking, and like you're just not connected to any kind of source, to your happiness, to your excitement, to what your heart desires. So it's like getting, the pandemic and this reset has kind of forced our routines that kind of keep us asleep and keep us in these routines. It jarred that, it stopped that. And it's
Right.
allowed us to all kind of take a collective breath. So that's what they've said about that.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense to me, definitely. I'm getting similar information like that for sure. And
Well,
what
what
are your
about the
thoughts?
rest of 2020 for you?
Oh
Anything good there?
yeah,
Anything juicy?
yeah, I do get that it's going to be very intense for the rest of 2020, and I mean like it hasn't been already, but
Yeah.
yeah, I feel that 2021 will be it's like what I see it, what they're showing me is, you're being squeezed through a tunnel, it hurts, 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 and then you come out like that in the light, maybe
Okay.
2021, that kind of thing.
Yay.
So that's
All
what they're
right.
showing me. So we're being squeezed right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll take being squeezed. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. That sounds good.
Right. So yeah. So what are your thoughts on cycle, that we're at the end of a cycle, like a 26,000 year cycle or anything like that? Has your team said anything about that to you? Moving through cycles?
So the GFL, no, not directly. The
Okay.
26,000 years, that number has not come to my consciousness through my channeling. Again, going back to Metatron, I do believe, we're in these 7-year cycles, and at the end of 2019, we ended, with the winter solstice, ended that first 7-year cycle, entered a new 7 or 8 7-year cycle, entered a new 7-year cycle. And he thinks, the way Metatron talks is this is a 50-year cycle. We're in about the 42nd year of 50 years. So we've got 42 years left of a larger cycle. But, he's not real specific on exactly what's happening during that cycle. But so I tend to kind of think of it like that. So, but the 26,000, that's the law of one, right? And raw and
Yeah.
the harvest and all that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't talk to me specifically about that.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
keep getting that 2029, around 2029, 2030 are going to be a very pivotal time. Like, could be the end of that 26,000 year cycle or around
Okay.
there, where if we don't have our, what together, that it's going to, I mean, it's already, the timelines are splitting, as I'm
Okay.
sure
Yep.
you
Yep.
have, maybe felt or seen.
Yeah, I
And
can sense
so,
that. Right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. And so I'm getting around 2029, 2030. I've gotten a lot of information about that. And there's prophecies too about 26,000 year cycles as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we'll see 2029, 2030, what happens, where we're at.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that feels right to me too. It's not like, oh, I don't think so, but just intuitively that feels right. I don't think it's anything that's going to be done this year. It's not going
Yeah.
to happen on this winter solstice this year and be over. I mean, I think that's far from it. That's definitely how I feel like we're in a longer cycle here.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even, yeah, totally. And I feel even in 2029, 2030, it's, it's not the world's going to end or anything like that. Like, what was it? I forgot the movie where, the Mayan calendar ended
Yeah.
on
On the
whatever day,
2012, and that was it. Yeah.
2012. Yeah. I don't see that happening. I just see it being really pivotal for us to move into that
Yeah.
much higher, that harvest, like you say, moving into the fourth density or fifth dimension.
Yeah.
It's like that's the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, my guides have definitely talked about solar flares. They've talked about a change in the polarity, a shifting of polarity, moving into higher vibrational density, just as a universe, or as this part of the universe is moving into the, kind of that higher frequency. So yeah, and I could see that being around that time, something major like that, being that thing that catapults us to the next level.
Yeah, totally. The other day, not that long ago, 3 or 4 days ago, we had a ton of solar flares that were ejected here on the planet. And I don't know if you noticed, did you have were your electronics going nuts like 3 or 4 days ago? Mine were. And then
Probably, they always seem to be, but yes.
I guess we went through
Yeah.
a couple days of
Okay.
really intense solar flares about 3 or 4
Okay.
days ago. But yeah, and so, we're being bombarded with all that light,
Yeah.
and things have to happen when that happens.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody I'm talking to on, these one-on-one sessions I'm doing, and through YouTube, just like these energies, they're either kind of really making you frenetic and crazy and depressed and sad and angry, or you're kind of walking on cloud 9 all the time. It doesn't
Yeah.
almost seem to be like there's no in between. It's either really shaking you loose and making you deal with your stuff on that level, or you're just floating on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes at the end of the day, I'm just like beat because of all the energy that's coming in,
yeah,
and that's not
yeah.
like me normally. Really, I've got a lot of energy.
But you're
So,
probably doing a lot in your sleep time too. Like you're probably working 24/7, I imagine.
oh yeah, we all are. Yeah, I have a
Yeah,
lot of travels in my nighttime travels where I see I'm doing all that kind of stuff for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, um, what about full disclosure? I know that working with your beings, because we've been I've been in your group, and
yeah,
that one of the things that I believe that they wanted was for people to be in a place of not being afraid of extraterrestrials, correct?
yeah,
Not
yeah,
being in fear. And I know personally, uh, the Galactics have been working with me in a way, slow a way where I'm able to see them, in my mind's eye or in my dreams and out of bodies where I'm conscious, and or out of the corner of my eye or something, and not be freaked out. Yeah, and because of my history, I block it, block how they look, and just have
yeah.
memories, that kind of thing. And
Right.
so, uh, so what's your thoughts on that?
It's interesting. You brought up the dream thing. I mean, for me personally too, I had a dream very recently where a spaceship landed right in front of me, and that door started to open, and I ran like a crazy woman. I was so scared. I woke myself up. My heart's beating. My hands are
Wow.
shaking, and I tell myself during the day, "Beam me up, Scotty. I'm
Yeah, I
so ready.
know.
Like, come land right now in the front yard. Like, I want it." So
Right.
like consciously, I'm like so ready, but in my sleep time when I was kind of less conscious in that way, I was scared to death. So yeah, I'm even for me, I mean that surprised me that I had that gut reaction to that. But these guys, not only do they not want us to be afraid, but they want to be able to tell or show us that, or have us understand at a deep level that they're here with love, that they're
Hmm.
here to support, that it
Hmm.
is it's not just contact sake for contact sake, that they're coming with a mission of love and support for this ascension. I mean, this is, they are our faithful guides here. It's it's the Starship Enterprise going into new
Right.
frontiers, right? Like
Right.
they're here to hold our hands and to guide us. So it's almost secondary that they exist and that they're ships, like that secondary, but the primary directive here is that they're here to support us with love, that their mission is of love. It is not of destruction, taking over this planet, taking over humanity. It's all that stuff. So that is really the critical thing. So it's even beyond just not being afraid. It's actually embracing them as like galactic brothers and sisters who are here to support and love us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also to that is to understand that we're all in this together, and there is a law of free will where they can't interfere.
Yeah.
So what we do here affects them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I know totally they love us and they want to support us, or the good guys, um,
Yeah.
who don't have a negative agenda, but because they have they have their own lives, and they what we do here does affect them. I know that they've told me that many times, and it only makes sense. What we do affects everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if
It
we're
totally
not,
does.
if we mess up this planet or do something stupid, it affects
Yeah.
the lives.
Yeah, I mean, I completely believe, when you see stories or read about, the galactics coming in and disarming, our nuclear warheads
Yeah,
consistently. Like, thank God for that, that they are doing that. So they don't want to thwart our free will up to a point, but they are going to disarm that because that hurts so much more than just ourselves. That's a multi-dimensional bomb that's going off that can impact all kinds of existence. Right. So, but yeah,
totally.
but the free will. And so, and my guides have said to me, the more you want us, the quicker this will happen. Everybody's, when
Hmm.
are you going to be here? Well, it's like, it's kind of up to humanity when we're going to be here, because you are creating this reality and you have free will. So the more of you that band together in love and light and want to have this happen, the closer we're going to get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I remember when I was going through my quickening 20 years ago, and where the veil had just pretty much was gone, and standing out in my backyard begging them to come get me, begging them in the middle of the night. I know, begging them.
I
They
love
may have, and I just don't remember, because
True, true.
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, you very well could have done it many times, Sharon. I bet you did.
Oh,
I'm sure you did.
I know I did. I have slow memories come to you slowly, and that's how, how they work with this. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine it, if a ship just lands right now in your yard right now, and these little gray beings step out and say, "Okay, we're here,"
I know I want to say like, oh yeah, I'd go run up and introduce myself, but I don't know that I would after that dream. I like, or what if Jesus comes out, Yeshua comes out of one of
Yeah,
these spaceships, it's like, what?
right, yeah,
It's just,
yeah. He's
well,
a
I
total
don't know.
ET.
And I mean, just even today's channeling, though, they say disclosure will happen. I mean, they're very adamant, like this will be undeniable. You will know us, will know us, you will know of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, I mean, it's already happening.
And it's already
It's already
happening.
happened. And it's almost kind of like a big deal. We already knew that, I mean, give us something good. But
It'll be
yeah,
good. I'm sure it'll be good.
yeah. No, I meant with the government or,
Oh God, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's like,
Right.
we already know all that.
Right.
um, okay, so, yeah, I just had a question about, because a lot of people say, well, how come they just don't land in front of us? Because I know that some people in our group say, I want them to land right in front of me and take me on their ship, right? In real time, live.
Yes. Yes.
And so what's your take on that, why they don't do that?
Oh gosh. Well, I actually think they are doing that. I think they're already starting to do that.
Yeah.
It just hasn't happened for us yet, at least consciously. But
Consciously, yeah.
I actually feel like I have heard them say we are doing this. We are showing ourselves to select people who are truly ready and have that as part of their mission. And I just think that it's not hitting the same media frenzy like it used to, because there is so much disclosure happening now. I think it's just happening a little bit more under the radar.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of building a groundswell. Maybe there's a tipping point in their mind that they are tuned into where, okay, 51% of the world's going to be kind of ready for this. So we're going to start doing this on a wider scale. But I do think they're trying this out on a smaller scale. I really do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's also still a lot of fear, and maybe they're not safe doing that. Our government, I think, our military still considers them a threat. So
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, and I think
yeah.
so. I think these are a little bit more under the radar now, based on, it's not the same kind of like gray alien kind of abduction type of stuff from the last, 40, 50 years. I think this is definitely new terror. It's a new kind of contact.
Right.
And it is a little bit more under the radar because the GFL keeps saying this is a grassroots effort. We're not going to talk to your leaders like you're expecting us to, where this is going to be broadcast on major news, at least, not yet, not now. It is them contacting us telepathically, through channeling, through imagery, through feelings, through energy, through light, through our dreams. Like this is first contact. This is what
Totally.
this is.
Yeah.
And when we're ready to literally see it with our 3D eyes, that's going to come a little bit later. But consciously, we have to raise our consciousness really to be ready for this kind of contact. And this is dependent on us and our abilities to focus on this, to make it a priority, to really want it with our hearts, and to be in the right space for it.
Perfect. Yeah. I remember my dad was alive, and he was a skeptic. And when I first started, moving into my psychic abilities and remembering our abilities, because we all have abilities, and remembering them, he, it was so funny. We'd have conversations. I'd say, Dad, when you go to the other side, I'm going to have the last laugh, okay? When we meet on the other side, I'm going to have the last laugh. And sure enough, he appeared to me after his death, and with a dunce cap on.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, you're kidding.
Because he's like, when you're dead, you're dead. That's it. When you're dead, you're dead. I'm like, okay, all right, that's okay. You can think that. But he said, well, how come if there's, aliens or ETs, why they don't land on the White House lawn? And hey, that's a question. I hear a lot of people say that or ask that question. And what I got always is it's not how they want to show themselves. They want to show themselves to people who are open. And just like you said, and we have to be at a certain frequency, and they've already been showing themselves. There are a lot of people that remember being on the ships,
Yes.
a lot of people,
Yeah, I think these
and I'm
frequencies
one of
are
them.
allowing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
totally, totally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all good stuff. I mean, we're so blessed to be living here on this planet in these times, and what you said earlier really resonates in that there's so many of us that are here for
Yes.
this time right now. This is why we're here. This
Yeah.
is.
You think that, it wasn't just about going to a crappy job that you hate,
I know.
there's way more to it, guys, than that. Honest to God, you know.
Yes, yes. I mean, if you don't feel this, quickening that's going on right now, then, turn around and look again because
Yes,
this is immense, totally.
it is immense. And it is
Yeah.
a beautiful time to be here. We wanted to be here. We raised our hands. We knew it was going to be hard, but we
Mm-hmm.
raised our hands and we're here and we're doing it.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to share and talk about?
I just, again, I just like how I started here. I would just encourage everybody who's having awakening of any kind, these strange experiences, to please find others who
Mm-hmm.
might be able to relate to your story or resonate with you with whatever you're going through. I think really supporting each other right now is really critical. I have quit my job. I have, become vegan. I'm dedicated to the ascension now. I would have never have guessed this for myself. And if it weren't for people like Sharon, I wouldn't be doing this, period. Like I have, and my guides, our teams brought us together. It was divinely inspired, and you will have those kinds of connections too as you go through your process. But do reach out for help and find like-minded folks who could support you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you one more question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had mentioned about that you're here also to work on the reptilian. What'd you call it? The reptilian energy.
Yeah. So Archangel Metatron,
Emancipate, I think you said.
emancipate, and
Yeah.
that's an important word. Yeah,
Yeah.
emancipate. It's not like I'm going to squash it or I'm going to kill
Yeah.
it or I'm going to, rip it out. It's like it's an emancipation. It's a transmutation of energy. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that's huge. So
I can't make this stuff up.
I know, right? Yeah, that's pretty huge. So I'm sure you talk about that in your books. And yeah, why don't you give us your website? And I mean, I'll have it in the information below. But if you could just
Yeah.
speak out your website and where people can contact you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharon. I'm at
Sure.
shawnalfrancis.com, SHAWNA, L Francis with an E, FRANCES.com. And shawnalfrancis.com/contact is my contact form. I am doing one-on-one sessions. I am booking out into late November now. So it's just been incredible, but please do
Yay.
reach out. Please email me, shawnalfrancis.com. So I'm really excited about my new website, and it's all about the ascension and resources and books and other people who can help you, like I was just talking about. So you'll find out more about my books there. But yeah, emancipate negative reptilian energy. Yeah, you can't make this up, guys. So like I said, we need each other. And it's just the normal's gone, right? It's a new normal we're heading into, and let's be fearless and full of love as we do it.
Yeah, the ascension is the new normal. The
Yeah,
ascension is the new normal.
that's
Totally.
right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Shawna. And I always enjoy talking with you and
You too.
visiting. And one day soon, well, we'll meet in person again. So, I mean, we can still do that now. But
Totally.
6 feet. Yeah.
6 feet,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Sharon. Thank you
you're
so much
welcome.
for having me. And I wish you all the best with your new channel. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Have a good day. Mwah.
You too.
Okay.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye.